So now that we're done creating our text, changing it, changing the colors, making it funny, adding helpful tips, the next thing that we're going to do is code it. And that's going to be the last thing for week 4 core. So to begin, we kind of have to do the same thing that we did with our water sprite and what we did with our platform sprite, which is a little hack to help zoom it in. So we're going to click on the My Block, make a block, and we're going to type in set size, and then we're going to click on add an input, and we're going to leave it as number or text. And then we're going to click on OK. So now that we have this, it's going to be the same similar structure of that code. So we're going to go into the variables tab and add a set block right underneath it. We're going to change this to size hack flag, and then we're going to go into looks and add towards the bottom a costume number. Now that we've done that, still inside of our looks tab, we're going to add a switch costume, and we're going to leave it as size hack. Then still inside of looks, we're going to add a set size to 100%. And we're going to add the number or text inside of it. Then we're going to add another switch costume right underneath that. And then we're going to go into our variables and add the size hack flag bubble into this one. So now that we're done creating the size for it, the next thing that we want to do is tell it when to show up and when to hide. So we're going to go inside of our yellow events tab, and we're going to add when I receive, and we're going to change this to when. So when we've won our game, we don't need this to show up anymore, so we can go into our looks and add a hide. So we're going to do something a little bit similar to this, so we can hover over the when I receive, right click and duplicate it, and put it in the bottom. We're changing the when to next level, and we're going to remove the hide and add a next costume. And this makes sure that it's showing up and it's changing based on our level. So now that we've done this, we just need the last two main code, which is going to be one to help it zoom in for the level. And then the second thing that it's going to do is it's going to also show up and position it correctly onto our actual game. So we're going to work on the first one. So we're going to go into our yellow events tab, and we're going to add a when I receive green flag. Then I'm going to go inside of control and add a forever, and then an if then inside of it. I'm going to go into operators and add an equal sign. Then I'm going to go into variable and add a level bubble and change this to 1. Then in the My Blocks, I'm going to add the set size, and I'm going to change it to 200. So the reason why I only have to do this for level 1 is because once it is applied to that level, the rest will just do the same thing unless I tell it otherwise. So because of that, this is all that we need. So now it's the correct size, and it's going to show up perfectly onto our actual game. So now the last block of code that we're going to add is going to be to make sure that it's positioned correctly onto our game, and that as you're moving, it's also changing the way that it's being read, just so that everything kind of works all together. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, go into my yellow events tab, and I'm going to use when I receive green flag. Then I'm going to go into looks, and I'm going to add a show. Still inside of looks, I'm going to add a switch costume to, and I'm going to make sure I pick my first costume so it knows which one to start off for our first level and then continue moving on. Then we're going to go inside of our motions tab, and we're going to add a point in direction 90, and we're going to add a go to X and Y. And we're going to change this to 0, 0. After that, we're going to go into control and add a forever underneath. We're going to go back into motion, and then we're going to add a go to, so it knows where to position it. We're going to click on the arrow and change it to our platform. And then we're going to add a go in direction. Point in direction. And then we're going to go into sensing, and we're adding this backdrop hashtag of stage. We're changing the stage to platform, and this X position that showed up to direction. Okay, and with all of that, we're basically set for our text, so it's always good to click on your green flag, play it, test it out. If anything got shifted around, just have to move it back into place, but otherwise you should be done. So again, this first code is just to make sure that we're creating that special hack to zoom everything in. The next code is to make sure that when we've won, we've hidden it. The next code is to make sure that after every level, we go to the next costume. This code allows it so that it automatically zooms in for the first one, and then every other one will be zoomed in as well. And then this last one is just positioning and putting the actual text perfectly onto our platform, and that way so that when we move, it moves around with us as well.